Welcome to the Prisma Perspective. I'm Steve St. Cyr. It's a podcast on marketing for marketers and done by marketers. You can find the links to us on our website, powered by Prisma, or wherever you get your podcasts. And we're having a great show. Thank you for joining us at the Prisma Perspective. Well, guys, welcome back. It's been too long. Instead of being Vivid Talk number 14, we're now Prisma Perspective episode for number 1. So I'm super excited. Have a new theme, Prisma Perspective. We're still a podcast on marketers for marketers. And today I've got my very own brother here who owns and runs Wholesale Printables. Most of you may not know what Wholesale Printables do, but it's a wholesale t-shirt and other apparel companies that resell to screen printers, anybody that prints or uses large volumes of t-shirts. So we've got Michael Scott here today, and he is the owner and manager of Wholesale Printables, the wholesale t-shirt company that's locally here in Baton Rouge that sells throughout Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, t-shirts to people who are going to print on them or decorate them in any way, and as well as hats and other corporate apparel items. So I'm super excited. And you may not know that Scott is also my brother and that we've been in business together many times, but not in many years. Too long, like 20 years, I think, since we've been in business together.
Yeah, quite a while.
So, Scott, I just want you to introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and why we should listen to you today.
Well, that's assuming you should. But I've done a lot of different things. I'm obviously the owner of Wholesale Printables at the time. And I, in my career, have enjoyed the opportunity to bounce between technical and non-technical. So, I have an engineering undergraduate. I have an MBA from Harvard, and that's given me a lot of opportunities to do a very broad mix of different types of businesses. And so I've really enjoyed over the years understanding everything from operations to finance to marketing to sales and to the technology piece, obviously. Most of my time I've been in technology. But in the end, most businesses like this business is really just about customer service and how you're going to serve the customer with that business. So this is a relatively low-tech business from the outside, although the inside of it is logistics heavy, very IT centric. But in the end, what we're really just doing is serving a customer need.
Gotcha. That's interesting because we also built Vivid on customer service, which is a very custom business, and Wholesale Printables is not custom. It's more commodity almost, but it's still built on customer service. So that's interesting parallels there.
If I can interject for
Please.
a second, brother, I think I'm the one that told you that's what your hedgehog was. Do you remember that?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
And if you don't know what the hedgehog principle is, that comes from good to great, and how do you convert a good business to, and what is your simple one thing that you do better than anyone else?
When you were much smaller. That was when you were much smaller and trying to figure that out.
And it still is. Our hedgehog principle still is customer service. One of the themes we're going to talk about is how you take a small business and compete with national companies, because there are a few giants in your industry, S&S, Sanmar, and Wholesale. Compared to them, what do you have, like 1 million t-shirts in your warehouse?
Maybe 1.5, but not much more. Yeah.
1.5 million t-shirts. That's a lot of t-shirts. If you ever get a chance, you should go check it out. But it's nothing compared to these big guys have. So one of the themes we're talking about today is how do you take a small business and compete with the national giants? And that's whether you're t-shirts, wholesale t-shirts, or printer, or any other business around. So why don't you tell us how you got started and how Wholesale Printables became what it is today?
So Wholesale Printables was started 40 years ago, and grew up and in the Baton Rouge market. It serves Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, a little bit of Texas. We're moving more into there. I can go there later. Arkansas, and it grew. And in the pre-internet age, you really needed a local supplier. So the country was dominated by local suppliers. I was doing some business consulting, actually at Vivid Inc. at the time. And this was, anyway, in between other assignments. And Steve, you actually brought this to me. I think the previous owners had contacted you looking for a buyer.
Right. They contacted us to buy it, but it really isn't in our warehouse. We're a custom shop. And so I thought, yeah, you might be interested.
And so I was looking to switch back from the technology side to the operation side for a while. So it kind of fit. And, I think this opportunity also had some of the key characteristics that I look for in a turnaround, which...
Why don't you explain what you mean by turnaround?
Okay. So, if I was looking at buying a business, any business in general, you want one that has an opportunity to grow and to really, become much more valuable than the purchase price. And so, I consider that. So you're turning around the business. You're taking it. So this is a business that at one point it was 4 times the size that it is today in terms of sales volume. It has very good brand name recognition. So everyone in the market knows them because they were the big player in the pre-internet age. But it's had declining sales. It had poor customer service, and it had operational systems that needed a technology overhaul. So I thought I could come in and bring and leverage the strengths of the business and correct the defects of the business to really enable us to turn it around and grow. And so those are some of the characteristics that I was looking for in a new business, and I think this one kind of satisfied them all.
And that was like, a little over a year ago? How long?
18 months.
18 months ago.
So, we closed 18 months ago.
Gotcha. So when companies order blank apparel, what are their common pain points, or what does Wholesale Printables actually compete on?
Good. Great question. So I think there's really a couple of different companies that sizes that have different characteristics. So if you're talking about a Prisma, you're talking about a bigger company that has a much longer planning horizon. And so for those customers, and a much higher transactional volume. And so for those customers, there's a lot of orders, there's a lot of throughput. It's really about ensuring that the friction in the order process is minimal. So you've got to integrate with their systems if you can. You have to make sure the systems they're using are easy. You have to provide good feedback and tracking systems. And so it's really about tying in and reducing the friction on the ordering process for those larger players. Now, price has to be at a parity. That's pretty much a given. This is a commodity product that we're selling. There's very little that's distinct about it. We do a couple of team-specific special orders, but for the most part, 98% of our products are all commodities. So it's really so prices have to be at parity. That's a given. But then for the larger customers, it's really about reducing the friction in the ordering process. For the smaller customers, their ordering horizons, their planning horizons are typically days to maybe a week to maybe a day.
Yeah. Kind of different.
Kind of different. And so for those customers, the most important thing is that you have to have it available in stock, and you have to get it to them same day or next day. Right. So we do pickups for a lot of the local companies, a lot of the smaller companies. We've had companies that will drive in from Shreveport which for those of you that don't know, is about a 4-hour drive because they have to get it, and we provide that option.
Gotcha. So you have pickup. So you have almost 2 separate systems. For larger companies, they're not going to be picking things up. Larger companies, they're going to want it.
We deliver or ship depending on where they are,
and they're going to want it easy at a competitive price. But for both, you got to have large inventory.
Yes.
Because you got to be able to fill the inventory, and you got to have all the different sizes, all the different colors. So if I need 1,000 shirts, I don't need 1,000 shirts. I need 500 larges, 300 extra larges, whatever the distribution is, and you got to have all that in stock.
Right. Yeah, well, that's mostly true. The larger the planning horizon, the better our ability to get it in time.
Gotcha.
So if you come to me and I say I need 50,000 of a particular item, well, we don't stock 50,000 of one style and color, but if you give me 2 weeks, I can get a drop ship from the mill, and I can get it in time, and we can deliver it as you need it.
Cool. Maybe even cheaper if you're ordering that.
Maybe even cheaper. Often, cheaper.
So given that there's not a lot of the small players left, most of them got either eaten up, either went under or got merged over time into the big players. How do you compete today with the big players like the S&S of the world or the Sanmar of the world?
Yeah, great question. I think the one thing to keep in mind is that you don't have to be big. You have to be big enough. So, if we're dealing with, Prisma would probably be one of our largest customers in terms of your sales volume, not to us, but your overall. In order to work with Prisma, we don't have to be national. We just have to be big enough that we can always serve what you need or be able to adjust and get things in when we don't. And so, the first thing is it's not a disqualifying event that you're not a national player, because for the smaller player, it might be for the smaller players, but for the Prisma or the larger players, you're going to have a couple days to respond. You can ship things in, you can take care of it. So, it's not a disqualifying event. And where it's an advantage is the customer service. We know our customers know us. They call, they get a human, they talk. If they have a question, if they have a problem, my cell phone is on the bottom of every email on my business card.
Yes.
If there's a problem, I know.
And we all know in any business, there's problems. It's going to be a problem that come up.
Yeah.
And so you when there's a problem, that's when you really want to talk to somebody. I don't want a phone. I want to be able to talk to somebody.
And that's when you really can win the customer over. Yeah. I think of a story that one of the in the early days, we had the customer, an important customer, had this rush order. We shipped it out. It was like 10 boxes of apparel. They get 9 boxes. So, and
just a shipping issue?
I wish. Candidly, I wish. The box was
off to the side. Whoever shipped it missed one.
Yep. And this is before we had some of the systems that we have in place now. So that wouldn't happen today, but it happened. So, I ended up hiring a driver to take it to Alexandria
to get it there
by midday.
So he could do his order.
And, that's the type of thing you won't find from a national.
No, you won't.
You'll never find that. So
that's in any business. You just can't find that from that.
Yeah,
So tell us about why you wouldn't have that problem today.
Since the purchase of the business, we've replaced every single process and piece of technology in the business. So
elaborate on that.
Yeah. So let's just start now. Obviously, I have an IT background, so one of the things that I can do is apply automation and technology to make sure the processes are consistent and reliable. So we have a new e-commerce system. We have a new warehouse management system. In fact, they didn't have a warehouse management system. We have a new shipping system. So things are barcoded. So now, the picking process is, you scan it. It tells you what location to go to. You scan it, you pull it, you scan it. So when things go out for shipping, everything's scanned. So we've been able to use technology to make sure that we don't screw up. Now, it's not to say we never screw up, but it's not. The goal is
the error rate is way down.
The error rate is way, way down. And you want to continue to build the systems. That's the value of systems, is you want to build the systems to ensure that an error is hard to do rather than easy to do.
Gotcha. So what error rates going down, that's what I would call quality.
Yes, that's exactly what I call quality.
So quality or speed or price or local partnership, what's the most important element in marketing your business? What do you market on? Which I would say, which one the most?
I view cost as a given.
Okay. You mean you have to be at this parity?
You have to be at roughly parity. This is an industry of pennies.
Okay.
You don't have much leeway.
Gotcha.
Between there.
And it's easy to compare.
It's very easy to compare. Right. People will send us screenshots all the time. Hey, this is what I'm getting.
Okay. So price is more like you don't really compete. It's just a given.
Right. Quality is a disqualifier. Okay. And that's really where we were when I bought it.
Okay.
So
if you have bad quality, you just kicked out.
You're just kicked out. It doesn't matter. So your quality rate needs to be well under 0.5% error rate.
Man, I wish we could get there. There's no way we can get that anywhere near that level.
Yeah, you actually do things. We just ship things. You make things. So but it has to be the right thing. It has to be the right size, the right color. So those two are really just
so I assume you track
qualifiers.
Your quality.
Oh yeah. And we bonus the heck out of the warehouse staff based on quality. So everything's tracked. We know exactly how many defects and who made them, and it's really, really important to us. But those are really just qualifying events. Customer service and ease of ordering are the two that really we try to compete on. You always can shine most when you screw up, right?
Fixing it. Where it's not so much painful to the client.
So this is a customer placed a very large order on Wednesday that they needed delivered on Friday, coming out of Dallas.
Okay.
Right.
Shouldn't be 2 days.
Right. Shouldn't be.
No.
So it's no problem. This one is a shipping one, right? So, I talk to the sales rep, I talk to the dispatcher, guaranteed, look, we're not going to place this order because the customer has to have it. Nope. Yeah, it'll be there. It'll be there. We've got it booked. So Wednesday, I'm looking at the board, tracking it online, and it's not showing it as being shipped. They're like, oh no, it's good. They'll pick it up Thursday morning. Well, you can see where we're going, right? So come Friday, it's clear they haven't yet picked up the item, despite and so the customer is heading out of town Saturday morning at 6 a.m. And they have a trailer that somebody else hauling out of town at 11 a.m.
Oh, wow.
So the crux is the truck arrives Saturday morning at 7 a.m. and myself and one other person from the warehouse meet it and unload it into the customer's trailer so they can then take it to the convention that they're going to.
Wow.
But, but that's, again, a customer that will stay true to us.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as you explain the truth, what happened, what you need to fix it.
Yeah.
So what makes Wholesale Printables different? What do you want people to think about your brand when they think of Wholesale Printables?
First, I want them to think about the people because, really it's the people and the relationships that make this different from the national players. Then I think the next part would be the fact that we listen and we adjust. I mean, we've added some inventory colors and styles based on, Prisma needs. So you're saying, hey, we have a customer. It'd be great if you could stock this because then we can respond more rapidly. Okay. We'll do that. And so, I think we listen. I think it's really all about customer service, and that's what we'd want them to think about.
So what advice would you give a screen printer or a marketer or a business owner trying to elevate their apparel or their printing in general, their apparel printing?
So really on the supply side, as obviously we supply the apparel side, there are a couple of considerations. One, I would recommend they limit the number of brands that they look at. A lot of people I want to choose this polo and this particular t-shirt and this particular jacket. And the challenge with that is every mill uses different manufacturing processes, have different color palettes, different sheens to it, and it doesn't look the same. So limiting the number of mills or brands that you choose actually will help with the consistency, of the color.
So smaller choices better. In this world we're overrun with too many choices.
Right. And you see the
inconsistency from brand to brand.
Right. And it makes the entire the ordering process more difficult. So that would be the first,
especially on larger clients where they have big screens and you got to tell people, no, you don't want 10 options. You really don't. It's just going to be problematic for you, for me, for everyone. You really want to pick two that you like and go with that.
Exactly. So I think the second part would be to really find a supplier you can work with, because you're really going to want somebody that understands what you're doing rather than just supplying only the shirts,
right?
Only the blanks. And that's just to reduce the friction in your process, to speed the entire process up, and to be able to help when there's
you want a partner. You want someone to supply not only the shirts, but know why you need them, when you need them, and have communication, like this is firm or this isn't really firm and this is whatever. So I know for us, when we don't want to like lots of small suppliers. I want a few big suppliers that they can work with me, will take my call, that I spend enough money with when there's a problem I can deal with. And I think from your side, the same way, you don't want lots. It's better if people have people they can reach out to when there's a problem and limit the number of suppliers.
And you can be a lot more flexible. Let me give you one example. We have a customer that does some big sports teams, and they do multiple teams. And they had a situation where they had two teams in a bowl game playing against each other.
Okay, good for them.
Yeah, good for them, right? So, but one's going to win, one's going to lose. So, which shirts do they produce for the next game? This is, and so how do they solve that? Because they really want to get the shirts out right away to start selling them. And so, the solution, again, this is something because we're a partner with them. They said, well, can we order both and just pick one of them up? And so they ordered both, and we had them both prepared, by Friday. And then Saturday after the game, I met them there at 7 a.m. and they picked up the winning team, and then they printed, and decorated. And then it was by that afternoon they were out.
And the
other
other one went back in inventory.
And the other one back in inventory.
It's no more work for you, but it's good custom. I mean, appreciative.
Yeah. So, that's the type of stuff you get by getting a partner rather than just a supplier.
So what do you see as your greatest strength for a business owner or partner or to your clients? Or what do you see as your greatest strength in business?
Customer service focus and process orientation. So I'm a builder. I love building systems that reduce the friction and ensure the quality are built into it.
So that leads to, where do you see yourself and or Wholesale Printables in 3 to 5 years?
So, as I said, one of the key characteristics I was looking in any sort of a turnaround is a business that has the potential to grow. We have a very large market, that we're not capturing. That is going to a lot of the national players. We think we can easily be 4 times as large in 3 to 5 years. We're looking at a transit portal. So in 2026, we really aren't selling much into Texas yet, because that's 2-day shipping for us. And other players can get there in 1 day. But by using a transit portal and shipping stuff manually to Lafayette, we'll be able to achieve 1-day shipping for the Houston market, which is almost as large as the Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama market combined. Right. So we think there's lots and lots of opportunity to continue to grow, continue to serve.
What should marketers or business owners or our customers take away from today's conversation? What is the one key point?
I think the key point is that, apparel is really branding, and you're dealing with walking billboards, and you need to make sure that your supplier is a partner in your sales effort.
Okay. And I just want to say, one of the things I learned is how much the partnership is the key. Is that you want somebody that's going to look after your business, value your business, and that work together with you. And that was kind of my main takeaway. And I just wanted to thank you for rejoining us today at Prisma Perspective number 1, formerly Vivid Talk. And thank you, Scott, or Michael Scott, for joining us today. Appreciate it very much.